Welcome to English Success Stories, the podcast that empowers intermediate English learners to achieve professional and personal excellence through compelling narratives of innovation, determination, and transformative success. I'm your host, Professor Diana Anderson, and today we're exploring 4 remarkable journeys that demonstrate how ordinary individuals create extraordinary impact through strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, and unwavering commitment to their goals. This episode, Innovation and Personal Transformation, showcases how professionals across diverse industries leverage their unique skills and perspectives to address complex challenges while building fulfilling careers that make meaningful contributions to society. Each story has been carefully designed to challenge B1 and B2 level learners with sophisticated vocabulary, complex grammatical structures, and contemporary themes essential for success in today's competitive global marketplace. Today's narratives will engage you with the specialized language of healthcare innovation, educational technology, social entrepreneurship, and creative industry leadership. You'll encounter advanced conditional constructions, nuanced passive voice applications, and the kind of persuasive communication that distinguishes influential professionals from their colleagues in dynamic international environments. We'll meet Dr. Angela Rodriguez, a healthcare innovator whose telemedicine platform revolutionizes rural medical care while addressing systemic healthcare inequalities. We'll follow Marcus Thompson, an educational technology developer whose adaptive learning system transforms how students with learning disabilities access quality education. We'll observe Priya Sharma, a social entrepreneur whose microfinance initiative empowers women in developing communities while challenging traditional banking practices. Finally, we'll join Daniel Kim, a sustainable fashion designer whose circular economy approach influences industry standards while building a profitable creative enterprise. Each narrative incorporates multiple layers of professional development, requiring you to understand market dynamics, decode complex stakeholder relationships, and appreciate the strategic innovations that drive successful career advancement in contemporary industries. These comprehension skills prove essential for excelling in international business environments, contributing to graduate-level academic discussions, and building meaningful professional networks across cultural boundaries. Dr. Angela Rodriguez had practiced emergency medicine in urban hospitals for 7 years when a volunteer medical mission to rural Montana revealed the profound healthcare disparities that existed just hours from major metropolitan areas, inspiring her to develop innovative telemedicine solutions that would eventually transform how underserved populations access specialized medical care across vast geographical distances. The revelation came during a weekend clinic in a town of 800 residents located 150 miles from the nearest hospital with specialized cardiac care. Angela encountered patients with serious medical conditions who had delayed seeking treatment for months due to travel distances, transportation limitations, and the economic burden of taking time off work for medical appointments in distant cities. Most concerning was Martha Jensen, a 67-year-old farmer presenting with symptoms that clearly indicated advanced heart disease, but who had avoided seeking medical attention because the nearest cardiologist required a 300-mile round trip and a full day away from her farm during harvest season. Angela realized that geographic isolation was creating preventable medical emergencies and potentially life-threatening delays in essential care. Traditional telemedicine approaches had failed in rural areas due to inadequate internet infrastructure, lack of technical support, and the complexity of existing platforms that required extensive training for both medical providers and patients. Angela recognized that effective rural healthcare technology needed to accommodate limited bandwidth, minimal technical expertise, and the practical constraints facing both rural physicians and their patients. Her breakthrough innovation involved developing a simplified telemedicine platform that could operate effectively on basic internet connections while providing high-quality diagnostic capabilities. The system utilized advanced compression algorithms to transmit clear medical images and patient data even with limited bandwidth, while maintaining user interfaces simple enough for elderly patients and overworked rural physicians to operate without extensive technical training. Angela's approach required understanding not only medical technology, but also the economic and social dynamics affecting rural healthcare delivery. She conducted extensive field research, interviewing rural physicians, patients, and healthcare administrators to understand the practical barriers that prevented effective implementation of existing telemedicine solutions. The development process demanded skills beyond Angela's medical expertise, requiring her to collaborate with software engineers, user experience designers, and rural internet infrastructure specialists. She learned project management, regulatory compliance for medical devices, and business development strategies necessary for scaling healthcare innovations across multiple healthcare systems. Her pilot program launched in 12 rural clinics across 3 states, connecting patients with specialized physicians in urban medical centers for consultations that would otherwise require significant travel and time commitments. The results exceeded expectations. Patient satisfaction ratings reached 94%, emergency room visits for non-urgent issues decreased by 37%, and early detection of serious conditions improved by 45%. The platform's success attracted attention from healthcare policy researchers and rural development organizations who recognized its potential for addressing healthcare inequality in underserved regions. Angela's innovation demonstrated that technological solutions could bridge geographic barriers when designed with deep understanding of local constraints and user needs. Scaling the platform required Angela to navigate complex healthcare regulations, secure funding from healthcare innovation investors, and build partnerships with rural healthcare networks across multiple states. She developed expertise in healthcare policy advocacy, working with legislative committees to update regulations that facilitated telemedicine implementation while maintaining patient safety standards. Within 3 years, Angela's telemedicine platform was operational in over 200 rural clinics across 15 states, providing specialized medical consultations to populations that had previously faced significant barriers to accessing quality healthcare. Her success earned recognition from the American Medical Association and multiple healthcare innovation awards. Angela's transformation from practicing physician to healthcare technology entrepreneur illustrated how professional expertise could be leveraged to address systemic social challenges while building sustainable business models. Her work influenced national healthcare policy discussions about rural medical access and demonstrated the potential for physician-led innovation to transform healthcare delivery systems. Her experience taught her that meaningful innovation required understanding not only technical possibilities, but also the social, economic, and regulatory contexts that influenced how solutions could be implemented effectively. Angela's success proved that healthcare professionals could drive significant social impact by combining medical expertise with entrepreneurial thinking and technological innovation. Marcus Thompson had taught special education for 5 years when his frustration with standardized educational software that failed to accommodate students with diverse learning disabilities motivated him to develop an adaptive learning platform that could personalize educational content in real time, adjusting to each student's unique cognitive strengths and learning pace while maintaining engagement and building confidence. The inspiration emerged from working with students whose learning differences weren't adequately addressed by conventional educational technology. Traditional learning management systems assumed uniform processing speeds and standard comprehension patterns, leaving students with dyslexia, ADHD, and other learning disabilities struggling with inappropriate content delivery methods that often reinforced feelings of academic inadequacy. Marcus observed that many of his students possessed exceptional abilities in areas that traditional assessments fail to recognize. Students with dyslexia often demonstrated superior spatial reasoning and creative problem-solving skills, while students with ADHD frequently excelled in dynamic learning environments that incorporated movement and immediate feedback. However, existing educational software couldn't adapt to leverage these strengths while accommodating processing differences. His breakthrough concept involved creating artificial intelligence that could analyze individual learning patterns, identify cognitive strengths, and continuously modify content presentation to optimize comprehension and retention for each student. The system would monitor engagement levels, response times, and accuracy patterns to adjust difficulty levels, presentation formats, and instructional strategies in real time. Developing this technology required Marcus to acquire expertise in educational psychology, artificial intelligence programming, and user experience design that extended far beyond his special education background. He enrolled in computer science courses, collaborated with cognitive researchers, and studied machine learning applications in educational contexts. The technical challenges were substantial. The AI system needed to differentiate between temporary confusion and fundamental comprehension difficulties, recognize when students were becoming frustrated versus appropriately challenged, and adapt content delivery without making students feel singled out or different from their peers. Marcus's solution incorporated multiple assessment modalities that could evaluate student understanding through various channels: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and interactive elements that allowed students to demonstrate knowledge through their strongest cognitive pathways. The platform also included emotional intelligence features that recognized stress indicators and adjusted accordingly. The pilot program launched in Marcus's own classroom with 12 students representing various learning disabilities. Results were remarkable. Student engagement increased by 67%. Standardized test scores improved by 34%. And most importantly, students' self-confidence and enjoyment of learning showed dramatic positive changes. Word of the platform's success spread throughout the special education community, leading to implementation requests from schools across the district. Marcus realized that his innovation had commercial potential that could benefit thousands of students while generating sustainable funding for continued development. Transitioning from teacher to educational technology entrepreneur required Marcus to learn business development, intellectual property protection, and educational market analysis. He secured funding from education-focused venture capital firms and established partnerships with special education advocacy organizations. The platform's expansion involved working with educational researchers to validate its effectiveness through controlled studies, collaborating with curriculum developers to ensure content alignment with educational standards, and training teachers to integrate adaptive technology into their instructional practices. Within 2 years, Marcus's adaptive learning platform was being used in over 150 schools across 8 states, serving more than 5,000 students with diverse learning needs. Educational research studies confirmed that students using the platform showed significantly greater academic progress and improved self-esteem compared to control groups using traditional educational software. Marcus's innovation influenced broader discussions about inclusive education technology and demonstrated the potential for AI-powered personalization to address educational inequality. His work earned recognition from the Department of Education and established new standards for accessibility in educational technology development. His journey from special education teacher to successful educational technology entrepreneur illustrated how classroom expertise could be leveraged to create scalable solutions that address systemic educational challenges while building sustainable businesses focused on social impact. Priya Sharma had worked as a financial analyst for international development organizations for 6 years when a field assignment in rural Bangladesh exposed her to the profound economic challenges facing women entrepreneurs who possessed valuable skills and business ideas but lacked access to traditional banking services, inspiring her to create innovative microfinance solutions that would challenge conventional lending practices while empowering women to build sustainable economic independence. The catalyst for Priya's innovation occurred in a village outside Dhaka, where she met Rashida, a skilled seamstress who had been trying for 3 years to secure a loan to purchase industrial sewing equipment that would enable her to expand from individual garment repairs to small-scale clothing production. Traditional banks rejected her applications due to lack of collateral, limited formal credit history, and gender-based lending biases that systematically excluded women entrepreneurs from accessing capital. Rashida's situation represented a widespread pattern that Priya observed throughout rural South Asia. Women with demonstrated business skills and market opportunities were prevented from scaling their enterprises due to financial system limitations that failed to recognize alternative indicators of creditworthiness and business potential. Conventional microfinance organizations existed in the region, but their approaches often created dependency relationships rather than building sustainable business capacity. High interest rates, rigid repayment schedules, and group lending models sometimes increased financial pressure on borrowers rather than providing the flexible support needed for business development. Priya's revolutionary approach involved developing risk assessment methodologies that evaluated business potential through alternative criteria: social capital, demonstrated skills, market analysis, and community reputation rather than traditional collateral requirements. Her system recognized that women in developing economies often possessed substantial assets in the form of social networks, practical expertise, and market knowledge that conventional banking failed to quantify. The innovation required Priya to combine financial analysis with anthropological research, studying how informal economic networks operated in different cultural contexts, and identifying indicators of business success that transcended traditional financial metrics. She collaborated with local women's organizations to understand community dynamics and trust-building mechanisms that could inform lending decisions. Priya's microfinance model incorporated comprehensive business development support alongside capital access, providing borrowers with market analysis, financial management training, and ongoing mentorship that increased the likelihood of business success while building long-term economic capacity. This holistic approach addressed systemic barriers that prevented women from accessing economic opportunities. The pilot program launched with 30 women entrepreneurs across 5 villages, providing loans ranging from $50 to $500 with flexible repayment terms aligned with seasonal business cycles and market fluctuations. The program also established savings cooperatives that enabled participants to build financial assets and provide mutual support during economic challenges. Results exceeded all projections. Loan repayment rates reached 97%, average business income increased by 145% within the first year, and participating women reported significant improvements in household economic security and personal empowerment. Most importantly, successful borrowers became mentors for subsequent participants, creating sustainable community-based support networks. The program's success attracted attention from international development organizations and impact investors who recognized its potential for replication across different cultural and economic contexts. Priya secured funding to expand the model to additional countries while adapting methodologies to accommodate different regulatory environments and cultural practices. Scaling the microfinance initiative required Priya to develop expertise in international finance regulations, cross-cultural program management, and impact measurement that demonstrated social return on investment to philanthropic and commercial funders. She established partnerships with local organizations in 7 countries, training program coordinators and adapting lending criteria to local contexts. Within 4 years, Priya's microfinance network was operating in 12 countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, serving over 15,000 women entrepreneurs with loan portfolios exceeding $8 million and documented social impact improvements affecting more than 60,000 family members. Independent evaluations confirmed that participants achieved sustainable income increases and improved community leadership roles. Priya's work influenced international development policy discussions about gender-inclusive financial services and demonstrated how innovative lending approaches could address economic inequality while generating sustainable returns for investors. Her methodology became a model studied by development finance institutions worldwide. Her transformation from financial analyst to international social entrepreneur illustrated how professional expertise could be applied to address global challenges while building scalable organizations that created lasting social impact through economically sustainable approaches. Daniel Kim had worked as a fashion designer for fast fashion retailers for 4 years, when growing awareness of the industry's environmental impact and exploitative labor practices compelled him to establish a sustainable fashion brand based on circular economy principles that would demonstrate how creative businesses could achieve profitability while prioritizing environmental responsibility and ethical manufacturing practices. The transformation began when Daniel visited textile manufacturing facilities in Southeast Asia and witnessed firsthand the environmental degradation and labor conditions associated with fast fashion production. Rivers polluted by textile dyes, workers exposed to dangerous chemicals, and massive volumes of discarded clothing in landfills convinced him that the fashion industry required fundamental restructuring rather than minor sustainability adjustments. Daniel's circular fashion model incorporated 3 revolutionary principles: zero-waste design that utilized every scrap of fabric, take-back programs that ensured garments returned to the production cycle rather than entering waste streams, and transparent supply chains that guaranteed fair labor practices and environmental responsibility throughout the manufacturing process. Implementing these principles required Daniel to develop expertise in sustainable materials, ethical manufacturing partnerships, and consumer education that extended far beyond traditional fashion design skills. He collaborated with textile innovators developing fabrics from recycled materials, established relationships with certified ethical manufacturers, and created marketing strategies that educated consumers about the true costs of fast fashion. The brand's success demonstrated that sustainable fashion could achieve both environmental impact and commercial viability when consumers understood the value proposition of durable, ethically produced clothing. Within 3 years, Daniel's company had generated $2 million in revenue while diverting 50,000 pounds of textile waste from landfills and providing employment for 200 workers in certified ethical facilities. Daniel's approach influenced industry discussions about sustainable business practices and demonstrated that creative entrepreneurs could build profitable enterprises while addressing environmental challenges. His work became a case study for sustainable business development and inspired other designers to adopt circular economy principles. Today's narratives have demonstrated how innovative professionals across diverse industries create meaningful impact while building successful careers through strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, and commitment to addressing societal challenges. Through Angela's healthcare innovation, Marcus's educational technology, Priya's microfinance revolution, and Daniel's sustainable fashion transformation, we've explored how individual expertise can drive systemic change when combined with entrepreneurial vision and social responsibility. These stories showcase the advanced English communication skills essential for success in contemporary global industries that increasingly value innovation, sustainability, and social impact. Each narrative employed sophisticated vocabulary that enables precise discussion of complex business concepts, intricate grammatical structures that accommodate multiple stakeholder perspectives, and professional discourse patterns necessary for leadership in purpose-driven organizations. The linguistic complexity evident throughout these stories reflects the communication demands facing professionals who must articulate innovative solutions, secure funding for social impact projects, and build organizations that balance profitability with purpose. Notice how each protagonist's success required not only technical expertise, but also advanced persuasion abilities, cross-cultural competency, and strategic communication skills. For continued advancement toward advanced proficiency, focus on analyzing how sophisticated English enables nuanced discussion of innovation strategies and social impact measurement, practice articulating complex business models using professional vocabulary and advanced grammatical structures, and develop sensitivity to the cultural and market contexts that inform sustainable business development. These narratives remind us that professional success in the 21st century increasingly requires the ability to communicate effectively about complex social challenges while building businesses that create both economic value and positive social impact through innovative approaches and collaborative leadership. Thank you for joining English Success Stories. Continue developing your professional communication capabilities through engagement with purpose-driven business content that prepares you for leadership roles in organizations focused on creating positive change in our interconnected world.